Welcome to USTC360. I'm Ginger Chang. Our feature today takes us back to Haiti, where education has been a major cornerstone of Tzu Chi's long-term rebuilding efforts. We will follow up on the reconstruction progress of College Marianne School. When we last left off, we saw the groundbreaking ceremony of the school earlier this year in January. The event was not only momentous for Tzu Chi and the Sisters of St. Anne, but it was very significant for the Haitian families because education holds the key to a better future for them. However, U.S. aid reports that Haiti's public education system is only able to educate 10% of the nation's children, while the rest of the 90% is taught by private and church-managed schools. To share with us his own academic experiences in Haiti, I'm very privileged to have Joseph McCondill-Champagne, the mayor of the borough of South Toms River in New Jersey. Welcome, Mayor Champagne.
Thank you for inviting me.
So first off, this is a very delayed question since you were inaugurated in January of 2011. But what's it like to be the first elected Haitian American mayor in New Jersey's history?
It feels really an honor to be in that position. For me, I don't celebrate it only for myself. I only celebrate it on behalf of the Haitian people, but more specifically on behalf of all my professors coming from Haiti and in the United States.
Well, you certainly are the pride and joy of the Haitian community in the U.S.
Yes.
Then, can you tell us more about the long road it took to get to where you are today?
You said it. It was a long road. It started when I was in Haiti. I was born to my lovely mother, Sylvia Champagne, who by fate had to leave me with my grandparent. She came to the United States to have a better life for us. I channeled that energy in trying to do as much as I can in terms of making her proud of me by doing well in school and by striving to stay on the right path, because I knew that it was a sacrifice for her. My sister was there as a mother figure, and my grandfather was there for me as a father figure. So growing up was, these are the emotion that I had to deal with. I was fortunate to eventually have met my mom in person when I was 13 years old, and she's still around, and I'm still thankful.
So without further delay, we're going to follow my teammates on their journey from New York to Port-au-Prince to see the construction progress of College Marianne. On January 21st, 2012, Tzu Chi volunteers from the United States hosted a groundbreaking ceremony for College Marianne in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Tzu Chi volunteers were very happy during their return to Haiti to see that just after 8 months, there was great progress in the construction of the school. The construction workers go about to assemble the steel columns and beams, but it's important to note the task of getting the materials there is a challenge because time to time there is delay in the shipment.
The hardest part for us to manage here is the materials, especially the purchasing and shipping. Here in Haiti, most of the materials have to be imported.
This is my 20th time here in Haiti. The main mission this time is to settle the materials for SS, which is steel structures.
I do know there is a problem in terms of scheduling because the supply from China encounter a lot of unexpected difficulty.
There are a total of 21 cargo containers coming in. The first batch of steel structures with 12 containers was supposed to arrive on June 4th. The second and third batch have both arrived, but the first shipment didn't come.
It's July 17th, already more than a month since the scheduled date. We never imagined that the laborers in the Panama Canal would have a strike that would severely delay our shipment by almost 2 months. Otherwise, our project could have been well ahead of schedule by now.
The materials were scheduled to arrive on June 4th. but just got here on July 21st this morning. We finally have all the building materials for the basement, first, second, and third floor. When we saw the first steel beam built, we felt so happy.
这一次有看到第一根的钢柱竖立起来的时候，就已经很开心了。
Although the delay in transporting the steel materials was a setback, Sister Marjorie believes seeing the foundation that's been completed so far is an accomplishment.
Ça m'impressionne beaucoup.
I'm really impressed, and today, of course, if you come for the first, you are not going to think that the construction is making progress. But me, I can say that I've seen fast evolution, and there was an enormous quantity of work to lay out the ground, and then for the foundations.
À accomplir pour aménager le terrain, ensuite pour la fondation.
它这边地势是真的是差很多。哦，我们现在站这个位置啊。
The landscape here is very different from the other side. Where we're standing here, it almost looks like the second, third floor of the other side. We spent quite a lot of time working on the foundation, but it's almost invisible from the outside. The foundation is partly mud, so we dig way deeper, and fill the hole with good soil for almost 6 meters. And that project couldn't be rushed because every 20 centimeters has to be pressed firmly. Back then, I felt that building the school was a very meaningful project, because we're building it from the foundation, so that it can be an elementary, middle, and high school. It's the reconstruction from the foundation.
确实压好。我那时候为什么觉得说像这个学校很有意义，就是说，它就是从它的基础，尤其是这个学校是从小学、中学哦，等于是说它整个基础的重建。
其实那边就是震央了。
Actually, the epicenter was right there. The tremors of the earthquake sucked over here and everything here collapsed. There were horrible casualties in the downtown area of Port-au-Prince, even up in the mountains. So when Professor Zhang designed this building, he had to consider all the risks that could happen in another earthquake.
就是说，当然他一定要考虑到所有的地震的一个以后可能在发生的一个风险。
All the buildings which I designed and OECC constructed before the earthquake, all of them are all standing and no damage whatsoever. So it proves that they have done a wonderful job.
We'll receive the materials for the stairs, railing, and roof at the end of July, so we must start working on schedule.
2 things. One is to check their progress, and the second is to make sure they're built according to the design specifications. My design is based on the international building code. The building is supposed to design for the earthquake as well as hurricane forces.
We cannot finish this one, and then we must.
The project code is P47. P47 means Marian School. This week, finally, our set progress already achieved, and then over than our expected. This is our internal.
After our meeting today, we understand the construction is 28.5% completed.
我原来是说。
Initially, I was hoping that we could complete the project well ahead of schedule, but now it doesn't seem possible anymore. Therefore, we will need extra capital for the project, more manpower, and more overtime shifts to complete it.
浓缩，然后才能够完成。
To let them know how OECC, the work team, to do the work in Haiti, and how we work for Tzu Chi in Haiti. Okay, so this is not only the OECC experience, but also its own working style.
So right now, after today's 4 containers arrived, so from the foundation to third floor, we have no more problems.
Yeah.
But all the details, I will be back.
No more vacation days through late August, perhaps even until September.
This gentleman, he shall be here on August 1st again, together with Dr. Zheng. So for the job site, must be very, very, very careful. They always monitor us, okay, behind us to push us, but they also support us very much. But also here I also represent OECC, represent my whole staff. For Marian School, we always try our best.
So on behalf of our master and global Tzu Chi volunteer, I really appreciate that. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bon, c'est sûr, Mr. James.
Certainly, Mr. James, he comes really often here. He comes to visit and to see the progress in the construction. He is really satisfied of what is being done, and we are really satisfied by his presence. Every time he comes, we feel like it's all the members of the Tzu Chi Foundation who come to visit, and who also come to check the evolution of the work to make sure that what they want to give is going to be what is best.
L'avancée des travaux pour s'assurer que ce qu'ils veulent donner, ça va être ce qu'il y a de meilleur.
I ask the same question many times. Why Tzu Chi's volunteers spend so much time trying to help the other people? They don't make money. They spend their own money for transportations, and I admire them. And that's my question, why they do it. Every time I talk to Tzu Chi volunteer, I feel that I'm so small, compared with them. They are such a big heart, and they devote their time, the energy. And all I have done is contribute some of my money or design fee, things like that, okay? So, 跟他们讲比较来讲呢，我是太渺小。
We hope the Master Chonyan and all the global Tzu Chi's people's blessings can be realized as soon as possible, so that more than 1,700 students here can go back to school in a safe, comfortable, and clean environment.
Alongside to the reconstruction of the schools, Tzu Chi has other ongoing projects, which are the after-school tutoring programs, hot meal services for the children, and subsidizing the tuition fees for families who simply can't afford it. However, Haiti's Constitution of 1987 mandates that primary education is free for everyone. Mayor Champagne, when you were attending school in Haiti, what were the noticeable differences you saw between the private and the public schools?
What I noticed as far as private school is that there are less number of students in the classrooms. The teachers, from my perspective, more prepared, and they usually are more up to the task.
What about the public schools? What were some of the noticeable differences you saw?
A majority of people in Haiti do not have the wherewithal financially to send their children to private schools. There is great influx of students applying for public schools. It would not be uncommon to have over 100 students in one class. If the professors are not paid, they either will go on strike or they will not come on certain days, and that in itself will create a problem for the students, and where they will have to fend for themselves to try to continue the curriculum on their own. These were the notable differences that I would say.
Families spend a quarter of their income just to send their children to school. Why is it so expensive, especially for public school? Why is that?
Well, in Haiti, pretty much everything is expensive because the currency, the good, is losing so much value that whereas in the past, at least in my time, it was not as expensive to go to public school or private school. Now it is very, very expensive because the people are earning in good, but they are spending in dollars.
Well, we're going to take a short break. Let's go meet the incredibly hard-working team behind the construction of College Marianne.
Today is 18th Wednesday. It's very important today, First,
every morning at 6:45 a.m., we'll have a special meeting, especially for those on-site engineers, mainly for the foreign staff.
Any concrete block, okay, directly delivered to P48.
The most important thing is to mark the attendance. Second is to check the conditions outside their spirit, whether they've had any unusual symptoms. And third, we've got to assign their tasks. For example, if today we found out that the security situation outside is bad, there's a riot out there, we need to identify whether it is necessary to inform them to be extra careful or to not go out temporarily.
The air temperature is about 36 or 37 degrees. Today's progress is like what we expected, so we did catch up with the progress.
I hired Mr. Yang specifically from Taiwan. He is my old colleague in our Red Star engineering agency in Saudi Arabia. We've invited him to come here and help because he is a construction professional.
I came here to Haiti because I know that there are a lot of people who came here after the disaster. When I considered it, I realized if it's possible for other people to come here, I can do it as well. If there hadn't been an earthquake and if Tzu Chi didn't come, I wouldn't have come here.
At OECC, after personally observing for so many months, I can see that they have been militarized, applying a military army management style. At the work site, every worker is very disciplined on the job.
Like this group of workers. They come here and get the equipment ready. They must have a helmet which is safe to wear. The most important part of work is safety and maintenance of the health environment.
When anyone needs to drink water, they will use their own cups to refill. So it is also very environmentally friendly. The culture of the site is actually similar to ours, but just in different ways. It is very humanistic.
The Haitian workers, fortunately, these are all new recruits, but there are many new hired and they may also treasure their job opportunities.
I was working for a company called the Sina for about 2 years. After the catastrophe on January 12th, there was barely any work.
I didn't work anywhere. I started working here as a helper, and then they gave me a roller to work with. I am the roller operator now, and I have 2 months of experience with it.
For the most part, they are good at complying with orders, and they have slowly picked up a few technical skills from working with us.
Angie, grazie. Problem again. Yeah. I have to cut the beam a little bit. Some of them are very hard to teach, but they have the interest to learn. Very young and very smart. Most of them are like that.
It gives me a good opportunity to learn more about construction and material knowledge.
I would like to know more than operating the roller. Even though I like what I do, I would like to know more. They gave me the chance to work on this, and I would like to work with other things as well.
Day by day, they will take a little more experience. Now it's much better, much better. Day by day, 他们才有机会能够提高他们这个 construction 的水准嘛。这样的话也，他们才有机会能够赚到比较好的薪水。对。
Many people don't get the chance to work, but I do. So I would like to thank the company and the entire staff and God for this opportunity.
It's really nice, and I like how all the employees work together. I really like that a lot. I am very happy with OECC because OECC is like a family. I appreciate the way they are.
很多那个大的树木，那个都已经20-30年以上。
Many large trees are more than 20 to 30 years old. So, as for this project, in fact, when I go to a place, it's important that we try to conserve all the trees. This tree is incredibly amazing, and if you look carefully, its trunk staggered, sides staggered one another. So I try to think of some way to save it. Although the roots have been cut, and some of the buds have been cut off, it survived. So I believe it can still survive adequately. This is a school. There's a significant lesson here. The school will educate their next generation about how we conserve all of these natural resources. From this, they can learn a good lesson. If we can do this work successfully, it will be the happiest thing ever in doing the engineering work.
像这样的工作，如果说真的可以做起来，那真的是 做工程就是最快乐是这一件事情。
在这一边呢。
Here, in this big environment, under the poor living and working conditions, to live long enough, you must have a loving heart and be willing to make a contribution. Otherwise, you won't survive.
一定要有一个爱心，要有一个爱心，要奉献的心，不然的话待不下去。
Welcome back. Well, I have to reiterate, the reason why Tzu Chi is adamant on rebuilding the schools is because it's to educate the privileged youths, or better yet, the rich people, on the importance of civic virtues. This way, they'll learn to help the vulnerable and give back to society. Mayor Champagne, what suggestions do you have that in ways we can improve the education sector in Haiti?
Unfortunately, Haiti is affected by what's called classism, because those who go to private school are more than likely not well-to-do necessarily, but they have enough means and substance to at least attend those schools, or they have parents overseas like I did to help them out and to attend those schools. I see this as a problem, and I hope that our current government is trying to merge those schools together by incorporating those elements of good citizenship in the curriculum itself.
Can you give a few words of encouragement to our students at College Marianne?
I would like to give to the student of College Marianne is that to understand that the value of education is not only to benefit self, but also is to benefit your nation. It's always good to give back to the nation from which you are graduating. Giving back is the only way that we can change the economic, political landscape in Haiti, because no one knows Haiti better than Haitians themselves. No one knows Haiti better than those who studied in Haiti. Despite the fact that Haiti is in the condition that it's in, when you peel off all those negative propaganda, peel off all negative imagery of Haiti, you actually see a gem, a diamond that is in a rough stage, but all it needs is youth like those from Marianne or those from the public schools, those for any other schools, to shift their thinking, to shift their attitude toward helping Haiti, as opposed to take what they got as value from Haiti and bring it to another nation or another government.
Well, I certainly hope the students take your words to heart, and we really appreciate you for being on the show today. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was indeed my pleasure to be with you.
And for everyone at home, I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I'm Ginger Chang, and I'll see you next week.